as you can see right behind me, this is exactly the spot where the Bellandur Lake bed went up in flames. What we understand, as per the BBMP officials, is that the hyacinth in between the lake went up in flames. Now, what caused the fire is the speculation that it could be the industry effluents which are flowing into this very lake. Also, remember, this is not the very first time that Bellandur Lake bed is going up in flames.
Now, government has taken a serious concern about this Bellandur Lake, and the committee has been already formed, the expert committee by the government, and a committee has recommended so many recommendations. Stop the inflow of the sewage, and we have to enforce the law very effectively, so that around 600 apartments we have identified the defaulters. Out of that, around 130 apartments are still yet to commission the STP.
We don't want to make a blame game. From Bangalore, everywhere, each one of you use shampoo, soap. All of us, all are coming into these tanks, and it's polluted. And there's a lot of chemical particles in that. So now, because of that, this fire is happening. There's no other reason for that. Immediately now, this expert committee is there. A lot of people are working on it. Actually, now there is a full 100% on toes work is going on.
But it's been over a month, sir.
No. See, all these things can't happen in a month or in a few days.
Fire was around 50 to 60 feet inside the lake. So it was, firemen could not reach there immediately because it was sinking, the foot was sinking. With great difficulty, our people, they went inside with a hose and all, they doused the fire.
Every alternate day we see the debris dumping here. We would log call with BBMP, or we will call the HSR police station. They'll come a day later and probably just see, okay, now it's under control, and go back. Hope this escalation of this issue will probably force the authorities to take the right action.
Well, according to reports coming in out of Bangalore, the BBMP says it's the BDA's jurisdiction. The BDA says it can't do anything because the garbage that is being dumped in the lake is the BBMP's jurisdiction. Now, between those two government bodies, it seems like that particular lake is just completely rotting. This is the third fire. So to respond to that, Congress MLA N.A. Harris, who said that your shampoo is going into the lake and that is what's catching fire. I'm shocked to understand that shampoo can catch fire, first of all. Secondly, he said these things cannot happen in a month. Well, the first fire in this lake happened in 2015. That was 2 years ago. And there is no reason why you shouldn't have taken action then. Also, the frothing in the lake has been noticed for several years, and this government has repeatedly ignored various reports of the fact that there's industrial effluent flowing into this lake, that there's sewage flowing into this lake, and garbage is being dumped into this lake on a regular basis. Now they're desperate to pass the buck. But can they? Is it time for the citizens of Bangalore to simply say, listen, enough is enough? Either get your job done or move out and give your position to someone else. Our phone lines are open. We're going to take a quick break. We come back with that debate. Enough is enough to the government of Karnataka. It's time for you to do your jobs. On the other side. The Bellandur Lake in Bangalore has gone up in flames. Thick, opaque smoke engulfed the buildings around it as people had to put up with the fact that that is the kind of air they were breathing. The government reaction was slow, and it was slow because the first fire in this lake happened in May 2015. It's been 2 years, and this government has done precious little to clean it up. They still seem to be blaming each other between the BBMP, the Bangalore Sewage and Water Supply Board, and of course the BDA, which is the Bangalore Development Authority, under whose jurisdiction this lake actually comes. None of them have done anything. They're just passing the buck, and there has to be some accountability. There has to be a head that rolls, or more than one head that rolls, because this is just plain laziness. You just haven't taken the job seriously. Joining me on the show this evening, Tanveer Ahmed, spokesperson of the JDS in Bangalore, Sridhar Pabbisetty, CEO of Namma Bengaluru Foundation, Seema Sharma is a citizen, Nabin Roy, also a citizen, and Nagesh Aras joins us, all three of them citizens in Bangalore. Kavitha Reddy is a lake activist and also the representative of the Congress government in Karnataka on this panel. A.S. Kodandapani is a town planner and former BDA executive. Stalin Dayanand is a project director of an NGO called Vanashakti, who is an environmentalist who will bring in the environmental and the legal aspects here and what's available to the citizens right now as legal options. I want to start with Nabin Roy, who is a citizen in Bangalore. Mr. Roy, tell us what has been experienced right now in the last few days for people who live around that lake.
Okay, it has been really a very bad day and very challenging days and years for the families who are staying just near to the lake. More than 50,000 families live there. The children are falling sick very occasionally. You can see the froth and the smoke of the thick smoke coming out of it, which is because of lots of poisonous gases like methane and all. So it's been really difficult for the residents in that area, including all of us. We have been complaining about the deteriorating condition of Bellandur Lake to various agencies, but we are yet to see any concrete and positive action on that.
Well, I want to point out to our audience, for any sort of excuse that the government gives you, September 2014 was the first report of froth in the Bellandur Lake, which meant that that was the first time that the government should have noticed and taken cognizance of the fact that the lake is being polluted. May 2015, the foam covering on the water surface caught fire and burnt for several hours in Bellandur. That was several years ago. There is no excuse. There is no excuse for this government right now. Sridhar Pabbisetty, there is no excuse for why action was not taken earlier.
Absolutely. And you know, the inaction was so bad that at Namma Bengaluru Foundation, we had to put together a Save Bellandur action plan through which we had to indicate government that there are solutions that are very close and near. And the government at least took that report and said, okay, let's form a wider committee with experts from IASC, A-Tree and other places. And we welcomed the move and we contributed continuously to that committee. Unfortunately, the committee kept dragging on thanks to the lethargy of BDA. Thankfully, now the committee report is available on the BDA website, and there are very simple action plan that has been drawn out for various agencies. And what we would like to urge now for the state government is to start implementing this plan. And there's a copy of this that's available for all the speakers here. We'll be happy to share it with Magicbricks as well. It's there on BDA website. The action points are very simple. The Pollution Control Board should monitor the water quality of the lakes regularly. BWSSB should quantify the amount of sewage that's coming into the lakes and put out an action plan to reduce it to zero. Third, the BBMP should stop allowing garbage to be dumped into the lake bed. And this has been the most disastrous phase, where BBMP is still turning a blind eye, where citizens are going from pillar to post, reporting not just in physical letters, not just to officers in person.
You know, Sridhar Pabbisetty, you are very kind. You're very kind. My demands are very different, Sridhar Pabbisetty, and I'm going to take this question to Tanveer Ahmed. My demand is that the person who's heading the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board should hand in his resignation. My demand is that the person who's heading the Bangalore Water Supply and Sewage Board should hand in his resignation, because these men are obviously incapable of doing their jobs. How can you see a lake being polluted for what seems like now over 3.5 years and do absolutely nothing about it, and then have the audacity to come in and tell us now that we've formed a committee? I can form a committee in my backyard in 20 minutes. That is not helping anybody do anything. I want these people to resign. And people should be appointed to these jobs who are actually serious about pollution, who are actually serious about water supply, who are actually serious about where these sewage pipes are being pumped into.
Faye, I totally agree with what you are saying. Yes, exactly. The BWSSB and Pollution Control Board and people who are heading the board from BDA should be sacked. but do you think will that be enough? Why have these authorities and people who are sitting there have not been given an opportunity to work? We need to really understand a larger sharks are sitting here, because this lake used to be 892 acres in the area, but now it has reduced to 726 because the land mafias have eaten the portion of lake. And second thing, today the Bangalore is controlled by water mafia and garbage mafia. And who is controlling the garbage and water mafia? We need to really understand. A big man sitting in a very plump post and who's a minister today is controlling these mafias. We need to really understand that just sacking these people is just taking one. Everybody knows. I think Mr. Pabbisetty is going to name eventually, but let me really bring 2-3 important points here since we are discussing this. This lake, as a child who was born in Bangalore, we used to have a boat festival at this lake, and people used to grow paddy around. There used to be more than 400 to 500 families which used to depend on fishing around this area. And today we know that people who are living around has a lot of a serious problem, skin problem, and because of hydrocarbon they might also be exposed to have cancer with this lake around. Today this has become very poisonous. Like Pabbisetty told that we should ask BBMP not to put garbage, we should ask BDA not to allocate a more slit coming into this place, and asking Pollution Control Board to monitor this is not going to help. There has this authority and responsibility should be given to people who are capable, and I see there are a lot of capable names here, but I don't know whether these capable names are working. Like Professor TV Ramchandra, who with a huge way is one of the best lake scientists available in this country today.
Right.
He
I want to bring
is
in
just
Stalin.
in the
Absolutely.
panel. I don't think
Absolutely.
he's being
Stalin
given
Dayanand.
enough responsibility to work on this.
Stalin, tell me this. Now, Tanveer is making a very good point. Like Sridhar pointed out, there are bureaucrats in the various government organizations who are not doing their jobs. Tanveer says that it's probably the land mafia, the garbage mafia that's controlling all of this. Is it just resignations we should be going after and demanding as citizens, or is there more?
Not resignations, definitely a part of it, but I feel that criminal prosecution should be initiated. All it needs is one citizen to stand up there and say, and I am filing criminal prosecution against the member secretary, the municipal commissioner and the environment department. If this problem has been going on for 3 years, I don't blame the government, I blame the citizens there. They have not done their duty.
What is their duty?
They should have filed this complaint. They should have gone and moved the National Green Tribunal, which gives you immediate relief. They would have, by now they would have prosecuted the concerned officers. Even now it's not late. They should move the National Green Tribunal. That's the body for it. And under the Air Act, the Water Act, the Wetland Rules, the Environment Protection Act, every law concerning pollution.
Somebody should have filed a complaint, and this is a criminal. This is a criminal complaint.
It's a criminal offence. Even the police can file the FIR. Under the IPC sections for public nuisance and endangering public health, the police can also arrest the concerned municipal officers and the pollution board officers.
But the NGT will not take suo motu cognizance of this. Someone has to file a complaint.
Someone has to file it.
A citizen, one citizen is enough to go forward and file that complaint. A.S. Kodandapani, you've worked with the BDA. Tell us why these government organizations are so brazen when it comes to the environment. Why have we constantly seen lake beds disappear in Bangalore? Why have we constantly seen such disregard for environment in the city of Bangalore?
See, as early as 1976, Sir N. Lakshman Rao, the great administrator, he prepared a report on a rejuvenation of 110 lakhs, 10 lakes. Since then, no action was taken to improve all these 110 lakhs. No, Bellandur tank was built when it was in a village area for the requirement of water supply, maintaining cattle, irrigation, all that. The Bangalore limits were not beyond the Bellandur tank. Even this side, Indranagar was the last point. After this IT activity commencement, the city started growing on the east, that is Osur Road to Airport Road, Bellary Road. So after that only all round apartments have come and sewage is let in, and if there is an industry, it should have been shifted long back. Why they are continuing their industry even now to leave the chemical discharge into the lake? All this should be stopped by the Lake Development Authority, BWSSB, BDA, all these authorities and the Environmental Department should take immediate action.
Is it political pressure, Mr. Kodandapani? Is it political pressure, or is it the fact that the bureaucrats are just not in a position to do their jobs?
It is not political pressure, it is only official failure to take action, make proposals to the government or the agency and take up the work. Justify the project and take up the work.
Shouldn't there be pressure then from the politicians who run the city of Bangalore and who profit so greatly from its progress to put pressure on these agencies to say, take action, do your jobs, give us a report, set up a committee? Shouldn't that be happening from the Congress government that runs Karnataka state?
Say, politicians, how they are benefited by this pollution of the lake and all that. They are not benefited by this pollution and all that. They are interested in only allowing some developments and all that, which they have allowed, and number of apartments have come up beyond Bellandur tank.
So that is the incentive.
That's the incentive, that the land is more valuable than the environment. The land is more valuable, Stalin, than the health of the children who live around that area, who are breathing in this smoke. Kavitha Reddy, representing the government in Karnataka, also a lake activist. Why hasn't more been done by this government? Why hasn't the government taken any of the pleas of the citizens seriously? Why is this sort of behavior from the government that runs the city of Bangalore?
Okay, what government has done, I will say that first. We have passed the Lake Development Authority bill, which has basically empowered every single officer without interventions of the court to ensure that all the encroachments are removed, any pollutions happening to the lake, actions can be taken immediately. It's a very elaborate bill, and it's one of the best steps that has been taken, which happened in this is about in 2014. Now coming to the next point is that let me just finish. No, at least give that time what you gave to others. The next point is very simple, that there was a house committee set up which included all the political party legislators in it, and which gave a very detailed report in terms of the encroachments in the in case of the pollutions, whatever is happening. Many encroachments were also removed across the lake, including the lakes which I am working on. Now coming to the third point, yes, Bellandur has been a big challenge because it's not happening in 3 years' time. The pollution has been there for the last 8.5 years now. Tanveer was easily mentioning, some minister in, doing something, but he should also remember that it is his own government which gave away the lake land to an SEZ. So, which I think Sridhar went to the court and fought. So, they both have to answer for each other on that. Now, coming to the lake part of it, the government went ahead and set up a committee which is headed by no less than a principal secretary for it. Now what steps have been taken is there are concrete measures which have been given by the committee, and the report has been given to the government, and there are measures like STPs which have been set up.
Why is the lake still on fire? That was my question.
Exactly. As a lake activist, I can say it is not that simple to clear that lake. It takes a long time. It takes at least 5 to 6 years to clean up that lake. So it's not
how much progress have you done? How much progress have you done? You talked about a committee that has been set up, a bill that has been put in. How much progress has been done on the ground? Have you cleaned the lake? Why is it still on fire?
Every apartment which is there, which is around in that locality, which is adding to the pollution, which is letting out the sewage water into the lake, notices have been given. There has been, BWSSB have put out a notice saying that there is an order which came out saying that every apartment should have an STP, which now I think every apartment is opposed to it, but still I think they've gone ahead with it and they want an
Kavitha Reddy, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. Kavitha Reddy, one second. I have Dr. T.V. Ramchandra, Professor IISc, who is on the phone line with us right now. Dr. Ramchandra, thank you for joining us. Dr. Ramchandra, thank you for joining us. You are on the committee that advises the government on Bellandur Lake. Please explain to us, sir, why the lake caught fire yesterday, why that toxic fumes filled the air of Bangalore, and why more hasn't been done to clean up the lake.
Well, the committee has submitted the report about 8 months back.
Okay.
Even to take a further action, the government has taken almost 8 months. You know, it is the ineffective and the fragmented governance is the root cause of the thing. Now, coming to the lake getting a fire, the recent time, that is yesterday,
yes,
it's more to do with the, the dumping of solid waste. And the second thing is, the sustained inflow of the sewage into the lake, about 500 million liters every day, untreated sewage, and about 20 to 30 MLD from the surrounding apartments. I don't know the lady who talked more about the apartment. It is more to do with the inaction of the BWSSP not treating the sewage, which is what we were insisting.
I don't disagree with you, sir. I don't disagree with you.
Kavitha Reddy, let him finish, please.
No, madam, let me speak. Please do not interrupt the academician when he is speaking, okay? Now, coming to the point of the fire, see that, because of the nutrient in the system, the macrophytes have grown. The macrophytes are the water plant. They have formed a thick bed. One can walk through the macrophyte. Now, because of the temperature change in the Bangalore, these macrophytes have started drying. Now, coupled to that, there are the solid waste dumping, and somebody must have lighted it.
Yes.
In the process, there is a fire, and below the mat, there is a methane generation in the thing because there is an anaerobic condition. Now, with the anaerobic condition, the methane generation, naturally, it adds to the fire. That's why there is a fire in the lake. And the only solution is let us treat the lake. That's what I'm pleading the government, that we need to treat the lake on the sewage on priority and then stop all the encroachment. I do not understand why the government is unable to stop the encroachment. Even today, there are encroachments happening in Bellandur Lake. We are doing the field work and we have come across many of the instances of the encroachment. Okay? We might have a beautiful law, but where is the implementation of that?
Dr. Ramchandra, you said that the committee had submitted its report 8 months ago and the government hasn't taken any action. Had the government heeded to your report 8 months ago and begun to take, like you said, priority action, would that lake have caught fire yesterday?
No, actually, if there is a will, there is a way. The treatment of the thing would have taken only 18 to 20 months, not more than that. They could have started the thing in a phased manner and they could have done the job. We have given both the short-term and the long-term thing. If they have done the short-term, which is 6 months, by this time we would have been in a comfortable state. One of the recommendations we had given is to remove the macrophyte.
So, Dr. Ramchandra, the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board chairperson has given the media a response saying an expert committee has been formed and we are taking their report very seriously. That is obviously a lie. N.A. Harish from the Congress party actually said that the shampoo that is going into the lake that people around their various buildings are using is what is catching fire, and it is something that will take months and months and years to clean up. So all of these are just blatant lies.
No, it's a blatant lie. I am sorry to accept all these, illogical argument. It is more to do with untreated sewage and the macrophyte cover and drying of macrophyte and the consequent, somebody lighting the thing, and also the methane in the lake. I think some people before coming to the TV or in the media, they should go and do the study, whether it's a pollution control board or anybody who is claiming that it is something to do with the shampoo.
Well, one more question. One more question to Dr. Ramchandra. 1 second. One more question to Dr. T.V. Ramchandra. Stalin Dayanand, who's here, who's from the NGO Vanashakti, recommends that at least one citizen file a criminal complaint right now and approach the NGT for strict and immediate action to be taken against those in the government who have ignored various previous complaints and not done their job. Do you agree, Dr. Ramchandra?
Well, that is the final hope. The judiciary is the hope. When the executive mechanism fails, then only the judiciary is the hope. The government should have acted by now.
The government should have acted by now.
Yes.
And the government has not acted by now. And as the professor has explained to us, this is nothing but negligence. And this is a government that doesn't take the health of its citizens seriously, that doesn't take the health of the city seriously. And the price of land through encroachments is obviously more important than anything else. Nabin Roy is a citizen who has a question for Professor Ramchandra. Nabin Roy, go ahead.
Yeah. No, so, Faye, actually, somebody suggested that what the citizens are doing as part of, like, their effort. So, Professor T.V. Ramchandra, sir, we had requested him to do the, do the bathymetric analysis, around 1 year back, and entire citizen from that Bellandur area and Iblur area supported that particular initiative of Professor Ramchandran. And in terms of the filing the complaint, as Professor rightly said, as back as just 4 days back, where there was a huge dumping of the plastics by the illegal immigrants, over on the lake bed, that was already reported officially to the BBMP officials as well, BBMP officials, and they said that will be cleaned up within 3 days. Right. But we are still to see any action.
Let me go back to Kavitha Reddy. Kavitha Reddy, you heard the professor speak. The report went into the government 8 months ago. Professor Ramchandra telling us that the government has done nothing, absolutely nothing for 8 months. This is just pure negligence. And it's not something, madam, like you just said, that will take 8 years to clean up. We have an academic who's told us it will take 18 months.
No, I didn't say it take 8 years.
You just did. You just did. You said it will take 5 to 8 years to clean up the lake. You said so on my channel. If you want, we will play that bite back for you. You said 5 to 8 years.
Please play back.
Okay, we'll get that ready.
The message of the 8 years, I said. It will take only 3 to 5 years.
How much money is committed?
Please rerun it if you want it. Okay, now coming back to the point.
Okay, so it still also, madam, doesn't take 3 to 5 years to clean it up. The professor just told us it will take 20 months.
No, it
20 months.
No, it does not. No. It does not. If you have to revive a lake, it takes that much time. Even to revive a small lake, which is just next to it, it is taking about 1.5 to 2 years, which is about less than 60 acres of the lake.
You can't.
So coming back to the point on
hang on. You are disagreeing with Dr. T.V. Ramchandra, who just said that in 20 months the lake can be treated and it can be cleaned up if the government has put this job on priority. You disagreeing with him on what capacity, madam?
Treated and revival.
No, you said cleaned up. Cleaned up and revived are two completely different things.
And revival.
My question to you was, why is the lake on fire? You said it will take 5 years to clean up. The professor has very clearly said it can be cleaned up in 20 months. And it could have been cleaned up in 20 months had the government started after it received its report from the committee. 8 months have gone past. They would have done half the job by now if the government had any intention to protect the children who live around that lake. Why don't you just accept? Why don't you just accept Kavitha Reddy, lake activist and representative of the government of Karnataka, that the government of Karnataka doesn't care. It doesn't care about the people. It doesn't care about the children. It doesn't care about the air. You're just here to make excuses and tell lies. You don't even know what you're talking about. How can you disagree with Dr. Ramchandra, who's actually walked to that lake and done research? How can you disagree? Why are you lying on the channel?
If you don't give me time, how do you...
Don't argue about time. Stop telling lies. I will give you time, but I will not allow you to lie on this channel. And you are lying on this channel repeatedly.
Everybody's mouth and you're not wanting to listen. You don't want to listen also. If you're asking questions, give me the time to answer that. You don't want answers from me, but you just want to keep on asking questions and not giving time. Give me the time. I'm giving you the data.
Give me the data.
But
if you tell a single lie, I will interrupt you again. If you tell a single lie, I will interrupt you again.
Give me the data.
Give me the data. I'm listening. Give me the data.
Last debate also you did the same. Putting words in your mouth. Then you deleted your tweets. So hear me out now. In this particular case, there is STPs which is being planned, which includes about 5 STPs which is coming up, which includes about 900 MLD plant which is coming up, 60 MLD plant which is in Kormangla and Chelgatta Valley, 150 MLD treatment plant in Kormangla and Ejipura drains, 2 MLD plants in Halsur and 55 MLD plant including in my lake which is the Agra lake. So this is the STPs which are being planned, which is all land has already been allocated to them. The work has already begun. The tendering process has already begun. If you think that it's going to happen in 10 days tendering, it's not. Tendering process itself is a long
Why
one.
isn't the lake being treated as per the recommendation of your expert committee was my question. 8 months ago, according to you, you said the government has set up an expert committee.
These are the recommendations given by, these are the recommendations.
We just had Professor Ramchandra on this channel telling us what recommendations were given by the expert committee. Where is that recommendation? Why hasn't the immediate action been taken to treat the water?
This is including that. This point which I mentioned is included in the recommendations.
Go ahead, Stalin, go ahead, and then I'll bring in Professor Ramchandra, who's still on the phone.
Ms. Reddy, under which provision of the law are you discharging sewage into a lake? Under which provision of the law are you discharging sewage into a lake? Why didn't you create a sum to take away this sewage and then take it for treatment? And you're talking of doing it in 5 years. It won't happen in 500 years unless you stop the source of pollution right now. It's been going on for 2 years. In 2 years, in 2 years, how many?
Hear me out first. That's exactly what the point is.
In 2 years, how many? In 2 years, how many houses have been given occupation certificates? How many industrial units have been given closure notices? What is the prosecution that was done? How much money does it take to set up cameras and security around the lake? What is the money committed? What is the money committed for?
Yes.
Now, you've asked questions.
Dr. T.V. Ramchandra, Dr. T.V. Ramchandra, one second. Dr. T.V. Ramchandra, we've not moved past that first point, Kavitha Reddy. You said there are 5 plants, 5 STPs that are being planned. Kavitha Reddy, you said there are 5 STPs that are being planned. Madam, 1 second.
When all your apartments came into picture. Before that, it was not part of BBMP. It was BMP. It was Tanveer's government which made it BBMP and included all the villages into it. That happened in 2007. So what happened in 2007 was the extension of Bangalore as a city, and which included 110 villages coming in. So there was absolutely
so it's somebody else's fault. It's somebody else's responsibility. It's somebody else's problem. Dr. T.V. Ramchandra.
Really laugh on the Kavitha Reddy's immature argument. I don't know.
Kavitha, we can go back to Muhammad Ghazvi's attack on the India. We can go back to Akbar and Babur. What is important is saying that what has happened in the last 1 year. Why don't we go back and look at what has happened in the last 1 year, and why can't the government act faster?
BWSSB already has put in place an underground drainage system, which you also know. Most of you there also know that it is come right up to Agra Lake. The underground sewage system is already in place, and it is going to be in place in the next 3 years. It is a 5,000 crore project which includes across Bangalore all through, including the 110 villages. So if it includes 110 villages, it's going to take that much time.
Okay, all right. Let me just bring in Professor Ramchandra. One second, ladies and gentlemen, just give me 1 second.
Measures that the government should act on.
One second. Sridhar Pabbisetty, Professor Ramchandra. Okay, can we just give PCR? Could you just give me a moment of silence, please? Just one moment of silence, please. Right. Professor Ramchandra, I apologize for the ruckus in your ear. If you can hear me, the representative of the government is saying that there is there are 5 STPs that are being planned, land is being allocated to them, that will take time. Plus there is an underground sewage system that is being built, that will take time. I want to understand, are these the immediate suggestions that the committee, the expert committee had given the government that will take time to action? Or in your own words, you said 20 months is what it would take. What was that suggestion? Why hasn't that been followed?
See, there are two. One is a short-term solution and the other one is a long-term solution. Short-term solution was a removal of macrophytes at regular interval and the fixing the fountains so that aeration happens in the lake. In the meanwhile, BWSSB has assured the committee that all the treatment plant would be functional by March 2017, which is not far away. See, that should have, whatever they are talking, if it happens, then the Bangalore will not face the crisis. And also I am surprised with the lady who claimed that she's an activist, work on the lake. I think she need to understand how the lake functions. We cannot pollute the lake with the nutrient in a regular manner.
So nobody is polluting. Nobody wants to pollute the lake.
No, madam.
Please, with due respect to you,
let me intervene.
don't make such kind of a comment, sir.
Continue to discharge sewage, it will not revive.
We know how to revive the lake
second.
also. The lake which is next door to Bellandur I'm part of that lake revival team.
1 second, madam.
So
Let the professor
just
finish his
because,
point.
You want to make a comment, please don't make such comments, sir.
Let the professor finish his point.
Are you
Thank
saying that
very
there
much.
is no technology to treat the sewage? See, I think when you are in the panel like this,
The
you
first
please
step is
understand
you
what we are
yourself
talking.
said, sir, please understand, you yourself said you need a long-term solution which the BWSSP has to fix it. I gave a solution for it, I gave a response
madam,
to it
what is
also.
the short-term solution?
BWSSP is
I would
working on
urge you
a
to go
full
through the report,
total...
What is
we
her
have
short-term
presented.
solution?
Please go through the report, what we have
I have gone
given to
through
the
the report,
government.
sir.
You obviously
I
have
am
not,
having the
Kavitha
report
Reddy.
right
You
in
are
front
just
of
yelling
me.
at the professor
I
for
am
no
having
reason
the
right
report
now
right in
to
front
cover
of
up the
me.
lies that you said at the beginning of the show. You are just yelling at the professor
Sorry,
now.
you are wrong. Sorry, you are wrong.
Don't make me
You are
play
wrong.
that bite out.
Sorry,
Don't
you're
make
wrong.
me play that bite out, Kavitha Reddy.
I don't think I really like
do.
sitting here in this
Please do.
debate
That's
where
why
an
you really get the
academician is
tweets.
questioned for a lethargy which is done by mismanagement by the government. I think you should
nobody
allow
is
professor to
questioning
speak
you.
so that the
Nobody is
audience would
questioning
really
you.
understand what exactly is the
You-
problem.
nobody
We
is
are
questioning
speaking to
him. Nobody
the
is
biggest
questioning
authority
him.
today
We
sitting
are
in
only
this
stating
country.
facts. We are not questioning him.
It is no small
is his
person.
short-term
We are
solution?
talking to Professor Ramchandra sir. Let him speak, please.
Didn't happen.
Seema Sharma is a citizen right now. One
Professor
second, one
doesn't have
second,
the
one
authority to
second.
make personal
Seema
comments.
Sharma lives near the lake. Seema Sharma, what sort of response have you received from the government on the various occasions that you have gotten in touch with them reporting problems with the lake?
So we happen to be live next to the lake, and we see this dumping in and out, day in, day out from our houses, and we have been chasing every single possible avenue from October, and fire was there for 5 days. And somebody said that it's just one citizen go to NGT and problem is solved. I would challenge that, and same NGT gave the order that garbage burning is an offense. We see it right in front of us.
So Seema, tell me something. Seema,
Yeah.
you said you see, one
saying
second,
that-
you see garbage being dumped every day. Who is dumping the garbage? Because the government will have us know that there are people coming and throwing things like this. Or is it actually official garbage dumpsters being emptied by the government themselves into the lake bed?
So we have seen BBMP contractor coming. We have seen construction debris being dumped from the very reputed builders. Every possible avenue, sand trucks will mud cap in the night. Whole day there will be dumping.
Seema, who are these very
It's
reputable
continue.
builders? Give us some names.
So, being living next to that, when we get frustrated of inaction, we stop even some of the trucks and ask them. They will openly say we are coming from RMZ EcoWord, we are coming from Adarsh Farm Building. They even gave the names, that drivers. We are associated with this BBMP contractor, and we have been reporting truck numbers. We have been giving all the information. In fact, PCB gave the recommendation last time in October. Very simple things like putting the board that dumping is an offense is not being done. Forget about like 18 to 20 month job. Small recommendation like that, putting a fence around it or stopping the truck. Those kind of things with no cost, no long-term things are also not being followed. We had visit from MLA, from BBMP JC, Mr. Sarfaraz Khan, from every possible person who come and give very tight action plan for next 1 week, but then you go back, nothing has happened.
Ma'am, you seem
we
to
are
be
talking about yearly
be
plans and monthly plans. And
you seem to be an enlightened citizen. You are aware of the NGT's prohibition on burning of garbage. You should have filed an execution application against the corporation for doing it.
No, but you know what Seema is telling us, Stalin, this is shocking. And I want to bring back Professor Ramchandra. Seema, 1 second. Professor Ramchandra, the fact that the government is turning around and with what audacity telling us that they're doing the best they can, when the BBMP contractors themselves are dumping garbage in the lake. The same BBMP who over the last 2 days told citizens that they will be fined if they don't segregate their garbage, have the audacity to dump that garbage after every citizen in Bangalore has segregated, has the audacity to dump that garbage in the lake. I want to understand on what basis can the BBMP actually claim to be doing its job?
Well, what the BBMP is doing is in violation of the Solid Waste Management Rule of 2016 as well as MSWM Rule of 2000. As per that, the waste should have been converted into energy or the manure. The organic component should have been done that. Now, coming back to the Bellandur case, see, there is a large-scale dumping, and also more importantly, in the vicinity of the lake, there is an illegal Bangladeshi colony there who does the waste processing, and they dump the waste into the lake. After recovering whatever the material which gives the money, they just dump it into the lake.
But one point, who gives these huts to these immigrants? Who built huts for them? Who takes rent from them? And who is supplying that waste for them to sort out? And who is buying from them? Whenever we raise this issue, it becomes an illegal immigration issue. But my question is, why the landowners are not questioned? Why the people who are building huts to them, taking deposits from them, bringing them here? Every single person has Aadhaar card. Every single person has voter ID card.
And this is a massive problem in Bangalore, where there are empty plots of land on which these blue color shanties are built with no sewage supply. And they let out to people to live there at 400 rupees per hut. Now, after you repeatedly bring it up with the BBMP, and I have brought cases to the BBMP myself, nobody takes any action in the city of Bangalore. So there is obviously a larger conspiracy. Mr. Kodandapani, tell me, what is the conspiracy? Who is benefiting from this sort of movement in the city? Because how is garbage being dumped in the city? How are these hutments allowed to come up? There are slums being created in collusion with the government. In collusion with the government.
We need to ask why. First,
why? Mr. Kodandapani, because as a former member of the BDA, tell me what's happening.
Yeah, Bellandur being the biggest
one second, let him answer.
Without a dry waste collection center, without proper vehicle, so where will the waste go? If there is no dry waste collection center, if there is no proper waste management implemented, irrespective of all the nice plans and everything. So it will end up on the lake beds where construction cannot be done. It is a wetland.
Okay, fair enough. Let him answer. Yeah, okay, Seema, fair enough. Let him answer. Mr. Kodandapani.
See, the garbage contractor, they are not controlled properly. Their work is not supervised. They come and dump and nobody observes that. There should be CCTV, and next day they should observe who has dumped and all that and take action. About the sewage, they should not leave even treated sewage into the lake. It should be taken in concrete pipe beyond the metropolitan area and left in the valley. When city expands, you can add additional pipes and take it beyond that. No, the quality of our work, sewage treatment plant, they may not treat properly. Improper treatment will again pollute the lake. So, no sewage should enter the lake. What BWSSB is doing without preventing all that? It should be diverted. Earlier, even Alsur Lake, sewage was getting in. Then they diverted, and then sewage is going by the side of the lake.
Yes.
Like that, some arrangement they should do and monitor in CCTV what is happening.
Right. Nagesh Aras is also a citizen. Nagesh, what are the challenges you have faced with the government? Please tell us what you've noticed as a citizen.
See, first of all, there are some inconvenient truths which I would like to mention. See, the Bellandur Lake per se was declared as unfit for human consumption is as back as 1995. Okay, so that is the first truth which nobody is mentioning as if it is the last 2-3 years problem. No, in 1995 itself there is a contempt of court case where the local village was not having enough water for consumption. So that is the, it is not even the starting point in 1995. So it goes way beyond that. Number one. Number two, we had filed a case with the Lokayukta. In fact, the Lokayukta actually took cognizance of the last fire, and he had initiated the investigation into that. Now it ran for close to 2 years, and then ultimately he was sidelined. I do not know what is happening, but we did make a very concerted effort to bring this into, and bring the authorities to book, basically, who are actually not being effective at all.
Yes.
So that is another fact which basically was not mentioned by any political party. I don't know why. So that is another point.
Sridhar,
Third point is that there is no logistical arrangement for citywide collection, sorting, segregation, recycling, and dumping, or landfill. Okay, in absence of anything, we should be thankful to the Bangladeshi, illegal immigrants that they are doing something. They end up burning it. We should be even grateful for that, because there is no other. If you just add up the volume, there is no place to go. And who we have to thankful for? These are the same elected people who are supposed to arrange all that.
Right, Sridhar Pabbisetty, very quickly. All right. We're running out of time.
When there is complete vacuum.
Yes, sir. One second.
Vacuum, these people are taking over, and there is a parallel economy going on.
There shouldn't be a complete vacuum, and there shouldn't be room for a parallel economy, because we should have a government in Bangalore that is doing its job. Sridhar Pabbisetty, if the last 45 minutes have established anything, it is that everyone in the government is blatantly lying to the media and blatantly lying to the citizens. None of them are telling the truth.
It is actually deeper than that. See, there was earlier an act called Municipal Solid Waste.
I'm really appalled to hear that the shampoo that we are using is causing this problem. I think the MLAs of the city should be more responsible. I don't even know. It's a disgrace that we are electing people like them into the Vidhan Sauda.
Look,
having said that, the citizens have over the last 1 year, last 2 years, diligently reported the garbage being dumped into the lake. The BBMP has failed to act against them. There are even reports made on the Sahaya app which are easily verifiable. The BBMP has not acted against these contractors. Not even single contractor has been blacklisted by BBMP. There are very, very doable, simple measures that's there in the committee report. When Dr. T.V. Ramchandra, myself and few of us sat in the expert committee, we said that we should integrate all agencies and make sure that we do the best contribution to the city of Bengaluru. And if you go by this, the government has failed to act on very, very simple measures that are there.
Right.
Stop construction debris,
Tanveer
stop
Ahmed.
dumping of garbage, stop sewage flow, and each of these are actionable.
Tanveer Ahmed.
And someone said that if official wants to work, they are not working. But there was a transfer of Subodh Yadav, sir, who was trying to change this
One second, please, ma'am. One second, ma'am. Please. This government, current government, which we have in the state, is ecologically.
Okay, one at a time. One second. Tanveer Ahmed, just give me 1 second. Seema made a very interesting point. She said that there was a transfer of an officer who was trying to clean up the lake. Seema, go ahead.
Who was trying to set up the proper waste management. Like Nagesh pointed out, there is no proper processing, and there was one officer who tried to stand against this contractor system and who was transferred within 7 months, I guess. So if someone is saying that government is letting officers work, that is also not a not true statement.
All right, Tanveer Ahmed, go ahead.
The darkest chapter is still pending. Actually, there is a base
let me just tell you one thing.
Municipal Solid Waste Management.
This is exactly happens when your city is controlled by land mafia and when your city is controlled by
one at a time,
garbage mafia.
Right,
there are
garbage mafia and
really worry about.
Okay, one at a time, gentlemen. If you both speak at the same time, the audience cannot understand.
No, there are two important points I would like to bring. Our city is going to be in shambles if the steel flyover comes into our city, which also is something to worry about.
Okay, Tanveer Ahmed, let's stay on point. I'm running out of time. Tanveer Ahmed, I'm running out of time. Let's stay on point. We'll come back to the steel flyover. Right, I understand what you're saying. We'll come back. No, stay on point, sir. I don't have the time for this. I know that that Nagesh wanted to make a very quick point. Nagesh, go ahead very quickly.
Yeah, there was a very comprehensive act called Municipal Solid Waste Management and Handling Act. It actually says that the KSPCB is in charge of approving the entire process which I mentioned, end to end. And the approved contractors have to fulfill that. It was superseded in 2013 by a modification in the KMCA Act, Karnataka Municipal Corporation Act. And that is now taking over from the other act, and where nobody is responsible officially. So now that is the root cause of all the, the darkness in the city.
Okay. Unfortunately, I've run out of time on this debate, but we're going to keep an eye on it. And I want to personally thank Professor T.V. Ramchandra for joining us on the phone and clearing up a lot of points that we understand now were just blatant lies from the government that runs the city of Bangalore. It is time that we take action to get these people out of their jobs and possibly behind bars, because this sort of negligence will cost us lives. If there's anyone who believes that environment pollution doesn't cost lives, that people are not going to die, that people are not going to get poisoned, then they're living under a rock. This sort of thing will kill our children, and there is no world in which we should be okay with that. Thanks for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.